Hey, all you there in YouTube. I can see all of you guys there. You can't hide from me. Hey, why don't you all come with me on a little adventure? Van City Diaries number 352. Yes, it's minus 3.5 in the van right now. And asked me if I'm freezing my ass off. Damn right. My hands are cold, that's the biggest part. The rest of me is fairly warm. Okay, motorhome row. Here we are. And this Dodge is kind of sketchy. And I noticed that has no plates front and back. See, this guy here, he does have a generator or something running, but he's got like a propane tank sitting right on the street, right in the middle of the spots here. So that's what gives us other RVers a bad name. You can't do that. Okay, boys and girls, snowy still. Hasn't all melted, but Chinese New Year's this weekend, and for me lately I seem to be pulled more towards Eastern culture and New Year's rather than our Western style. And for me it's a time of reflection. So last year at this time I set some plans: 3 months, 6 month, 1 year, 2 year, and 5 year. So how did I fare last year when I made plans? I'm actually ahead of what I scheduled, in the way that 3 months plan last year when I was broken in Nanaimo living with my mom, it was to get a job. 6 months was to get back on the road, possibly Victoria, and I actually achieved that. And I went above and beyond that. I was actually able to buy that red convertible. The 1 year plan was maybe possibly a bigger van, taller van, and I actually achieved that in less than a year, on top of all the other crap that I managed to get myself in. So somehow I've managed to set goals and exceed them. The 1 year plan was to get back to Vancouver and or possibly stay in Victoria. And I'm actually back in Vancouver, quite surprised, around 3 months ago. So that would be 9 months, which means I'm way above plan. I've changed my mind. I'm not going to post this year's plans and goals. I think what I'm going to do is just go to an item that I seen on the news the other morning on Van Dwellers, and actually somebody emailed me this video link, so I just copied it and I'm gonna let you guys view it in its entirety. So you have to check this out.
And from the heights of Shaughnessy privilege, we go to those who live with no fixed address, either by choice or necessity. Our Tina Lovegreen got an insider's look at a growing community of people who are calling their vehicle home.
Got some bad news from Austin. All my friends are dying. Pretty much I ended up in this van, or where I'm currently living now, when my house was being torn down. It was a rental. I rented a house.
The 30-year-old moved into his van after he couldn't find anything to rent where he wanted to be.
So I'm going on 3 months? 3 months? Start of April, May, June, yeah. My laundry hamper.
Where do you do laundry?
At laundromats, but mostly friends' places because laundromats are kind of a miserable place to be.
Now, in spite of the 70s nostalgia, living in this GMC van is not a party.
The romance side of it kind of, for me, wears off some nights, and it can be very lonely. People that treat you kind. The plan is to stay in the van for the summer, save as much dough as possible.
He saves money from his DJing and band gigs, and he hopes to head south in the winter, chasing the sun like many vanners.
I've been doing this for 6 years.
The 67-year-old spends half the year in Mexico and the other half in Vancouver, taking in this view from what he calls home.
Well, you got to have a home. I'm like a homeless person, but I got to get a little home. On a $1,400 pension, $1,000, $1,200 for an apartment. I mean, what the hell is left after that? It's too expensive for me to live here.
It's hard to know just how many people are living out of their cars in Vancouver, but the ones living in RVs and converted vans are easy to spot. Hello, is anybody home? Many are not happy to have visitors. They fear that they will be run off by bylaw officers or the police. And some that are willing to let our cameras in to see their homes are unwilling to talk to us. The man who owns this school bus says he simply can't afford to rent. The city says it knows this is going on, but generally leaves them alone, unless neighbors complain or the vehicle looks unsafe or uninsured.
I don't know what they would complain about, that my vehicle's loud. I'd be like, well, she's old, she's loud, That guy's Hawaiian shirt's loud. Who cares? It breaks my heart that to see so many of my friends, a lot of the time, being rent evicted, and not having a place to live, and then it kind of forces them into this corner where, I guess I'll live in my vehicle, and then you're kind of treated as this outcast to society to live in the vehicle, and it's well, the society put us here,
And with no end in sight to the high rents in the city, we are all likely to see more people living like this. Tina Lovegreen, CBC News, Vancouver.